When you reach a toll and you don't have any bank balance. You're
Oh,
going to town and you have this stream of
yeah.
traffic behind you, and the Baki Kurang comes up, and you drive a nice car, and you got to reverse the whole loop back. Everyone's looking at you, and you're driving this nice car, and you got to go far left to top up. Yeah, that's I was laughing to myself about it. It's not cool. It's not cool.
Hello, Jasmine.
Hi, Darren.
Welcome to our What's Your Story series, where we get our friends to share about their love for cars and how this story began. Could you share a little bit with us about your story and how did it all start for you?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me, Darren. I've admired the passion and everything you've put together towards cars, automotive, and anything on wheels. I've always had a passion for cars. I started collecting Hot Wheel cars, Tamiya cars, since the day I remember I started walking. That transpired into a day where I discovered go-karting. It was recommended by a neighbor of ours, and I saw kids my age at that time, 7 to 12, sort of racing. What is this? What is this world that I've never knew before that? I was so intrigued, and I went up to people that I didn't know and asked about go-karting. So I started in a little pufo kart, they call it, 40cc. I still couldn't reach the pedals, so I had brick woods, plenty of cushion, and that's where my journey began.
Okay. How old were you then?
6 was 6.
How did your parents take to it when you expressed your interest in go-karting?
Well, my dad had the same passion of cars as well. So does my brother, and we watch Formula One and stuff like that. My mom was more open of me doing a lot more sports. I did my occasional taekwondo, I did my occasional ice hockey, football, so on and so forth. But I think they saw my eye towards that passion of racing, and we shared the same passion that was a weekend hobby that turned into a professional career. Until I started winning races, that's when I told my parents I wanted to be in Formula One. So that just changed the whole goal of a hobby into a lot more zeros. Yeah.
It's I guess it's with that move, it's the next level of motorsports. But maybe you could tell us a little bit about your journey from go-karting. How did it go with you when you first began? And then how was it in terms of the competitions that you participated in? And how did that transition to the point where you are who you are and where you are today?
So I mean, I didn't own a go kart in the beginning. We rented and leased a go kart. We did club championship at that time. There was a race called the KKS AAM Club Championship. But there were good drivers in it. And then I progressed to the Malaysian National Championship. Those are slightly bigger peers, and I was 7, and my peers were all 10, 12. So they're slightly stronger built, so physically, and they can go longer in the carts and stuff like that. And then I started doing Asian championships, and that really opened my eyes because the level and the attention to detail is a lot more. You race in bigger tracks. We went to places in Macau. We raced in Sentul, Indonesia. So the international competition was good, which I won in my first year. And then I started stepping into European karting, and that's a whole different ball game. So you have about 300 participants, different factory teams, different setups. And I used to go for every school holiday to just go and practice. So there's little things where the driver themselves dismantle the carts, put it back together with the engine. So and that's where I learned the engineering fundamentals of racing, and to step up to my further career. My goal was always to be in the Petronas Talent Development Program. Uh, and I wasn't chosen in the beginning, in the early years. So I wasn't sure, is it because of credentials, or is it because of age? And so I had to step up and find my own funding into doing Formula BMW Asia. So I had little sponsors. I remember after school with my dad with my school uniform, we did sponsorship decks and found a bit of money here, a bit of sponsorship here, a bit of, airline ticket from Malaysia Airlines to just do Formula BMW enough to do the championship. And my goal was to win the championship, to get that Petronas gig, and I won the championship by 1 point. So, but I remember my parents said to me that if we don't win it, we have to close our books on racing because it was getting very expensive, and to find sponsors is never easy. And yeah, the day I won it on Tuesday, 2 days later, I had the phone call, and off I went to Europe after that.
Wow, wow. From that point, could you elaborate a little bit about what transpired from then till today?
The journey was very colorful, Darren. It looks pretty that I drive these beautiful racing cars, but the pressure that comes to it is very different. The years of Petronas, there's this huge, a body behind you that you have to perform, right? Whether it's fitness, media, or any attendees that you have to attend to, you have to be there at 120%. I was living in the UK for 9 years throughout the program, from Formula BMW, Formula 3, Renault All Series, and Formula 1 development driver. But after that, I was also lucky enough to drive with factory team. So I drove with AMG for a year, and we developed the Mercedes AMG GT3, from a blank piece of paper to every component in the car. We finished second in the championship, and then I drove with McLaren the year after, which was a very not the best time of my career. We weren't performing very well together, but driving with McLaren was still a huge privilege. And then this thing followed my lap was World Endurance Championship to the Le Mans 24 hours. So all Malaysian lineup, as you know. We finished fourth in Le Mans. We were leading the championship till our sponsorship got pulled out. But despite of that, we still finished third in the championship and not finishing the entire rounds.
Yeah.
And then I was driving with the Joe Royal family for a couple of years in the Mercedes AMG GT. So it was very diverse, different race cars,
Different makes.
different series, very colorful. But yeah, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy throughout those years. Yeah.
And where are you right now in terms of your motorsports gigs?
So I came back to Malaysia fully. So my late dad passed in 2017. So I was still flying back and forth because mom was alone, and we were trying to get our footing right. So end of 2018 was the time I fully came back. 2019, when we set it up, the Joe Motorsport Racing, I was in KL and we were flying to Joe quite often, and when I came back, these corporate gigs, corporate offers came on the table. So I'm on the board of Sepang International Circuit. I'm on the board of Motorsport Association of Malaysia, to contribute back my knowledge over the years in racing. And that has been very exciting. Unfortunately, despite of the plans that has been hampered, COVID hit us. So we needed to recover the first 2 years, and now we're at full scale. So that's awesome. And I have this dire passion of automotive car culture. So we recently picked up and set it up RWB Collective.
Yes, I heard about that.
Is such an exciting journey because I knew the cars from way back when, and it's under our wings, under a consortium that we've put together, and I want to connect more with the community. So yeah, very diverse from racing on the corporate side, which is suit and tie, and automotive car culture, which is shots, coffee, and burning fuel.
But it's grassroots, isn't
That's
it?
grassroots.
Right?
So that's where I'm at. Yeah.
Okay. Motorsports is really a big boys game in every aspect of it.
Oh yeah, 100%.
What was your first car?
Wow. I had a Audi A5 diesel. That was my go-to.
That's a special recon unit then. Right?
No, I was actually living in the UK at the time.
Okay.
So I was taking the train over the years. And I'm sure you remember when the A5 came out, the coupe and there's a sports bike. Everyone was like, wow, and then the variants came out, from 1.8 liter to 3 liters. So yeah, the A5 was an eye catcher for me. I still have a car to today,
Okay.
12 years later, and it's my go-to.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. What's in your garage right now?
it's a couple of cars I have, but my daily is a Harrier. Just to share with you, I have a son of 2 years old. Uh, I have another one on the way. So yeah, that's
So
my
you're gonna move on to the MPVs next, right? An
MPV
Alphard,
is my
Railfire.
next. Yeah, the Alphats and the Velfires. That's what.
It's that downward spiral.
So I get this question a lot when I'm at the racetrack, but yeah, that's the reality. And honestly, it's the best cars. Huh?
It is. It is. It is. They're the most practical, but maybe not the coolest, right?
Correct.
If you could own any car, past or present, what would it be?
Is there a budget to it or
Budget.
no budget to it? Okay. Is it a singular car, a 3-car garage, or what is it?
Let's play along. 3-car garage.
3-car garage. Okay.
Start with the first one.
Ultimate would be a Zonda.
Okay. Which one?
I would love a Zonda Cinque, which is the color of your team kit. It's just so raw, and there's only 5 in the world, right? Because it's called the Cinque. I've sat in it many times. I've never driven it, but I know how pure it is, to drive it. The V12, and I don't think they build cars like that anymore today.
No hybrid assist, nothing,
Nothing.
right?
It's just raw. Yeah, I mean, you've seen the one going around in Singapore quite a lot, right? So yeah, the Cinque brings a lot of soul into automotive. That's what I like it. Subsequent to that is a TDF. I would love a TDF. I've driven it a few times. I've been privileged to drive it a few times, and I don't think either Ferrari will build such a car again. The sound, the soul of driving it, even the sitting position, the imperfections of the car makes it perfect.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
Um. Yeah. I sort of, when I see the competizione, it's not quite the TDF soul. Yeah. I just love the TDF.
This is a question a lot of car enthusiasts ask, and there's always discussed. As technology progresses, the cars become so much better in terms of how it can perform, what it can do, what it can do for you. But at the same time, we all collectively can agree that it's taken off the nuances of what an actual driving experience can be.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy to think that you can buy a 700 horsepower car off the shelf. I mean, way back when, growing up, 300 was a big deal, man, and 700 off the shelf is, incredible. And I'm not a fan of aids, steering wheel aids, traction control. I mean, it's good to support new guys and owners to help them, but I would rather teach those guys how to control 700 horsepower cars, Um, and yeah, modern cars has taken that soul away.
It has. It has. I think because of your background in motorsports and racing, right? You really understand what it means to have a raw driving experience, because that's what you're doing. It's you don't want all the other inputs. The input is yourself, your feet, your hands, your coordination, your timing. That's all there is to it. And I think for the most part, we have our dailies, we have our work cars, but we always try to keep our weekend cars a bit more special, if we can keep it manual, if we get that whole engagement. But I think it's come to a point where there's always going to be compromises in this day and age now. I mean, you take a look, like you say, 700 horses. Take a look at electric cars. Come on, you pick up a Tesla, that car flies, right? But for the actual driving experience, it's on a complete polar opposite. Yes, right. So let's dial in. You've got the Zonda, you've got the TDF. What would be your third car?
A 911R. Yeah, 911R. Um, yeah, I've driven it a few times as well. It's not the quickest car, but you have this rattles on the clutch. The H pattern gearboxes and the position of the gears. I love it. I love that downshift feeling and I'm not the quickest H pattern guy, but when I do it perfectly on the road, so on a track, it's
It moves you,
much,
right?
yeah. It puts a smile on your face. And that's even before putting in lap times. So yeah, that's my three car garage. Yeah.
I think that's pretty much the awesome ultimate combination that you have. A hyper, really quick cruiser, a GT cruiser. And I do agree with the TDF. I mean, I think they're special cars. Most of Ferrari's V12s are special. But I think as the hybrids come in, as the technology constantly tries to take over in terms of what it can for the driving experience, the older cars are a bit more special.
Yeah. I fully agree. I fully agree to it. I think if I see myself 10, 20 years down the road and look back at these cars, it's like how we are looking back to the 993s and the 964. So I'm so blessed that I'm growing up in this era of gears. So it's ultimate engineering masterpieces.
It is. It is. Here's an interesting question for you. Where do you see the future of cars heading to in the next decade?
I'm a true believer of ICE.
Okay.
Um,
We've established that.
EV might be a quick solution. Hydrogen might be an alternative solution. But if you're talking about CO2 and etc., there's so many types of new fossil fuels and sustainable fuels that technology can develop itself. I mean, there's races like Super GT where they're running flat fours and 600 horsepower is mind blowing. You know, the engine is just this big. Yeah, it's super compact, 600 horse and doing 148s in Sepang. It's crazy, and I think that is heading towards the future. Supplementing maybe hydrogen and combustion might be a simple alternative if we can sort out the how to package it. I mean, even if you talk about Formula One, they're talking about bringing back V10s as a compact V10. So I think people have reached a certain milestone. I would say that hey, it's trial and error. Maybe the next trial and error is to look back in what's right. Yeah. And I think loud screaming engines is what's right.
Okay, so that's your prediction, right? I mean, we welcome that. We welcome that. We've missed that for a long time. All right. And that's only, we can only relive those experiences with the hypers. Yeah. They're the only ones that still have that dream burning for us, right? Wonderful. Could you describe your funniest moment with your car?
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Um I've driven a nice car before. It's a double whammy where when you reach a toll and you don't have any bank balance left, and you're going to town and you have this stream of traffic behind you, and and the Baki Kurang comes out, and you drive a nice car, and you got to reverse the whole loop back. Everyone's looking at you, and you're driving this nice car, and you got to go far left to top up, top up your touch and go. So yeah, that's I was laughing to myself about it. It's yeah, it's not cool. It's not cool. But yeah. But other than that, yeah, I still remember that day quite often.
I don't think you never forget that. I've had that happen to me before. I was doing a delivery for a client, and it was in an S class, and I was just getting past the Sprint Highway toll, and shit. When I checked, oh, he took out his touch and go, the card from the smart tag. I'm like, oh damn. Then I checked, I didn't have my wallet. I had my this is my IC on my driver. Then I went to car. Sorry ya, tahu kereta mewah ni. Tapi I tak bawa duit. Boleh tolong lepas dah. Oh boy. I tell you, the look on her face, man. What is your biggest passion or obsession?
I traveling around the world for my races, I meet many great individuals, whether it's Formula One or whether it's, whatever championship I race in. I meet very immaculate individuals that have succeeded in their businesses or racing career or whatever. What I admire on their success is also their struggles. How they got there in the first place. No matter any background, whether an individual is given in a silver platter or is someone that's actually started from the bottom. And when we have conversation of cars, no matter how successful the individual is, you find this dictionary that you can talk hours about it. I was recently um, testing a 296 GD3, and we've done several testing together. And it's an individual that I just met. And the first day we've met was in Sepang, and we had over a packed lunch. And he was talking about his collection of cars, and we spoke about cars for 3 hours, and we didn't even talk about our testing that's coming up. And it's those little passions that I truly truly admire, um from each individuals that have succeeded. So that's what I like from this automotive community, whether it's, it doesn't matter what car it is, but it's the passion of how they got there.
It transcends race, religion, politics. It goes above all of it. I think the purity of the discussion. And when car people meet, yes, there's something special to it. Yeah, and you have to be in it to understand it, right?
That's right. So when I'm perhaps guiding them in my ways of racing, they're amazed of how I could maximize a certain capability of a car, right? So they're amazed of how I could do that on the table. So I said, no, it's countless hours of practice, and countless hours of going through data and analyzing and etc. Is exactly the same in business, right? So the common denominator is always talking about cars. So it goes both ways, in finding that. So I have the true passion of that culture of extracting out of racing.
So you're essentially saying that for you, your joy is in finding out their story,
Yeah,
right? And finding a commonality between it.
correct.
Yeah? Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
But racing is a whole another element because, when I was in Formula One or involved in a Formula One team, you have 22 engineers, you know, 35 mechanics, 700 people in the factory, and everyone is asking about your feedback of the race car. So, you have to give immaculate details. But then when you go to a slightly different tiers of racing, you have slightly smaller resources, but the habits are the same.
Yeah.
Right. And that's another element I enjoy, immaculate details in race cars. How can I get more performance of these cars, whether they're good or bad. So yeah, there's two ends of the spectrum of that culture that I love very much. Yeah.
Fantastic. How has car culture influenced your life? Are there any specific movies, TV show, books, or anything that has shaped your passion?
100%. Fast and Furious is one of the things.
Most common one.
And Need for Speed Underground.
Okay.
When you get to modify your R34 with the decals and the exhaust and all that, wow, that shaped that shaped who I am. As much as we've been talking about, European Conti cars, and JDM is also a huge passion of mine.
I
And
think it's always been the essence, right? I mean, you've got the Contis, but the JDMs were always about modifications, about upgrades, right?
correct.
Yes.
And when I was young, I sort of, it was me, mom, and dad when Super GT first came to Malaysia.
Oh yeah.
2001, I think, 2002.
Way back then.
And you see this guy in a green suit, green gloves, called Keiichi Tsuchiya, right? Wow, he's in Malaysia.
Yes.
racing this NSX, and I remember there was only probably 300 people in the grandstand, and me, mom, and dad were looking through these cars, and you pay 50 ringgit extra to be in the paddock, right? Yes. Taking pictures, and yeah, that defined my true passion of modification and love towards it. So, and Super GT or Japanese GT in particular even brought and opened eyes to the European guys, right, into very competitive car culture. Um, as much as the competitiveness, everyone's also together in that environment, in that real bubble of theirs. So I love that.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, interesting question again for you. Um, what would be the one thing that most people would not know about you?
I'm a bit OCD. When I go racing, I have all my equipment uh proper. Um, I wear my gloves from my rights. I wear my racing suit from my rights. I wear my boots from my rights, and I have my ritual before any test session and any race. And because of that habit, I'm quite OCD in doing things, and that habit has brought into my other businesses and my other commitments that I do. So, sometimes when we're in a board with, people that are a lot older than me and say, Jasmine, you're so particular, you're so detailed about all this. I'm sorry, sir. It's the habit that I have, so it's the training that I have, and I can't take that away from me. And I would like to think it's a strong trait. Maybe it picks others, but results come to play. So I put the results to do the talking. Yeah. Yeah.
If you could give yourself, or rather your younger self, one piece of advice, what would it be?
Patience. Um, growing up, for me, when you're about 5, 6 years old, I wanted to go karting because I wanted to drive, right? And when I grew up to becoming 12 years old, and the next big thing was driving license, right? Because you have all this group of people that go for Sunday drives, then you can't drive. And it's so painful, so frustrating. And once I got my driving license, it's about the next big thing, right? Which was getting a super license or getting things within regulations. And I would like to tell my 10-year-old self that time will come. The more patience that I could be, I could probably do less mistakes and less in a rush of doing things what I want to do. I've done plenty of mistakes, Darren, in my career.
As have all of we.
Yeah. Especially being in Europe or especially being in an environment that you're not used to. I've done plenty of mistakes, but patience was something that I would like to tell my 10-year-old self that hey, you'll get there. You know, you'll get there.
Okay, fantastic. One of the ideas and the philosophies behind this series is actually to inspire the younger, newer generation that's coming in and growing into car culture. So this is probably one of the first that we've done in the series, but what would you say to them as a guide?
It's a very good question, actually. Um, I've met plenty from different ages. The whether an individual owns a beautiful 964 or someone who owns a beautiful Supra or someone who even soups up a Myvi, my advice to the automotive car culture is there's no leveling or differences. I'm sure a passionate individual is shy to approach to someone like you, right, Darren? Or is shy to approach someone that owns a TDF, for example. There's no double leveling or double standards towards automotive car culture. I feel the common denominator, whether you have a nice Myvi, Supra, TDF, or Bugatti, for example, everyone shares the same passion. And where I truly saw that, Darren, was when I was in Goodwood Festival. You go to one corner, there's a pool of drifters, and there's this huge following on it. You go on the right hand side, there's this like incredible car collectors that purchase 250 GTOs, LMs, etc. You go up top, there's all the Formula One collectors memorabilia. You go down bottom, all JDM. And when I see this people of great stature meet together, it doesn't matter whether you wear a t-shirt or a suit. They sit down and share the same passion, and I love that. I love that very much, and that's my advice to these guys. Yeah.
You heard it. Okay, we're gonna move to the final section of our podcast, and that's the rapid fire question. And you've got what, 2-3 seconds for each of them. Just shoot away with the answers. What's your ideal car?
My ideal car every day, RS6,
What color would it be?
matte gray.
What's your ideal weekend?
Sitting by the pool and going through classifieds on piston heads.
Everyone on Muda every day is relating to that as well. You don't need it, but oh damn, that's a nice spec, right? Oh, maybe next year,
That's
maybe
right.
this year. Most underrated car.
Most underrated car, I think probably, wow, you got me there. Probably a Golf GTI.
Which generation?
Probably the Mark 7.5, yeah. Or Mark 7, actually.
How did it surprise you?
I was actually doing taxi laps in Sepang. And I thought, wow, this GTI is pretty
In a Golf.
impressive. In a Golf, yeah. Sorry, so I mean, a track day shouldn't relate, but even on the road, it's pretty good. Yeah.
Okay. Most overrated?
Probably Tesla. Yeah, Tesla is a bit overrated to me. It's great performance. They built very well. It's mass produced, but there's no soul into it, and
Okay.
there's something missing.
You're looking for the driving experience back
Yeah,
again, right?
it doesn't trickle down for me. Yeah.
What's more important to you, the car's interior or the exterior?
Oh, it has to be both.
Okay.
Has to be both.
Because you're OCD.
Yeah, 50-50.
Are you an introvert or an extrovert?
I like to think I'm an introvert, but once we get going, I'm an extrovert.
What's your favorite hobby?
Water sports. Yeah. Oh, yeah, water sports all the way. I love wakeboarding. I love kayaking. When I have time, that's what I do. Yeah, I love being by the water, and it keeps me very it's very technical, but it's very sane at the
Okay.
same time.
All right. Thank you so much for being with us today. That brings this session to an end. Thank you, brother.
Thanks, man. That was awesome. Hi, I'm Jazeman Jaafar. What's your story?